Hello, wordsmiths, and welcome back to the channel, and a special welcome to all of the renegades out there. Today, I am going to be pleasing you with another reaction into the world of the renegades with Ren's Sick Boi. This has been highly requested, and I cannot thank the renegades enough. Your response to my last video was outstanding. And through the comments I've heard, this track is as much a lyrical journey as it is an emotional and social commentary. So I'm going in completely fresh and ready to unpack every layer as we experience it together. We'll be diving both into the performance and the lyrical craftsmanship, which is very much in my wheelhouse, to see what makes this such a talked about piece. If you enjoy my deep dive reactions and analysis, don't forget to give this video a like, leave me a comment with your own thoughts on the song, and subscribe to the Wordsmith for more in-depth explorations, especially of Ren. I get the feeling that if this song pans out well, and it most likely is, we're going to be covering a lot. And if you'd like to support my work directly, you can join my Patreon community, you can send a super thanks, you can become a YouTube channel member, or buy me a coffee using the links in the description below. Now, that's enough out of me. Let's dive straight into it, shall we? You know, when I did my first reaction to Ren, I was so overwhelmed by what was going on, I didn't actually do much analysis. So on this occasion, I am going to try my best. I'll probably be overwhelmed again, but let's see what happens. So, Sick Boi. Alright, let's do it. Ooh. Yikes. Okay, well.
Thank you for coming in today.
Thanks for seeing me.
Looking at your file here, it seems there's a very apparent interplay with your emotional state and your
Psychologist
physical health. Have you ever
and
heard of the trauma response?
patient.
Basically,
I have
our
actually.
brains can get stuck in a negative feedback loop. Our subconscious can repeat patterns from the past, which can have
True.
a pretty drastic downstream effect on our biology. Essentially, your mind is making you sick.
Your mind is making you sick. Alright. Okay, I can say a lot of things about that off the cuff. Very much more a hip-hop, rap type of musical instrumentation going on in the background. Bit of vocal effects as well, echoing, making you sick. So, how the song starts, it's this spoken prologue. We are ushered into a space that is at once intimate and clinical. It's an austere, almost antiseptic conversational setting into which the faint yet audible heavy breathing that starts us off by Ren, and it intrudes like a spectre vulnerability here. So that's really, really interesting. And also his getup, he's wearing a patient's gown and he's speaking to a therapist. You can see that also the exchange between the practitioner and Ren immediately sets the tone for a narrative rooted in the uneasy junction between mind and body. And that's a very interesting dichotomy, but I'm not going to speak too much about that. But in its essence, the dramatization of a diagnostic moment, the revelation that the self can be both patient and culprit, that the machinery of thought can, quite without conscious malice, sabotage the sinews and systems it inhabits. So all of that to say here that the listener is thus primed for a meditation, not merely on illness, but on the complex choreography between psychological scars and the corporeal echoes therein. So that's a lot to digest, but that's what I've gotten so far just from this interaction. Also, the phrase that she used, the negative feedback loop, is a strikingly apt choice of words. It's borrowing from the language of systems theory to convey a sense of inescapability, of the self caught in a cul-de-sac of suffering. The mention here, the lyrics, patterns from the past, that hints at trauma's insidious ability to fall time in over itself, making yesterday's wounds today's maladies, if we can put it that way. And the final devastating distillation your mind is making you sick. That really stood out for me. It lands with a kind of terrible clarity, a cruel epiphany that reframes illness as not purely viral or chemical, but autobiographical in a sense. So the groundwork here is being laid by the lyrics for what is likely to be the blurring of the boundaries between a therapy session, confession, and then performance. So think of it this way. A dialogue is not simply between two people, but between the conscious self and its own subterranean shadows. So really, really interesting to start. And we literally just started. All right. At the request of a commenter, I'm going to take it back a few seconds just to hear everything again.
Effect in our biology. Essentially, your mind is making you sick.
Your mind is making you sick. And then the audible effect reverbing that. Interesting female young choir type of vibe going on here. Yeah, the heavy breathing again. Whoever produced this did an excellent job.
Sick boy, bitten by a tick boy, looking for that fix boy, anabolic steroids, damn so.
Oh, nice.
White noise, quick fix, snake oil. I'm about to break, boy. Oh, what a shame, he's in pain. Have another go. Take another pill.
Oh.
Take a couple more. Let's see how you're doing.
This hits hard.
You'll be feeling worse when the side effects will show.
Oh, that last line. You'll be feeling worse when the side effects to show. Okay, wait, hold on. Let's start from the beginning. This dude drops bars. I mean some serious bars. It's so impressive. And I love the fact that he isn't signed by a record label. It's just him. Therefore, he has the artistic freedom to do whatever. And here, Ren wields repetition and rhyme like a scalpel. Precise, rhythmic, almost percussive in its incision. The reiterated sick boy in the beginning becomes both diagnosis and epithet to a label that dehumanizes while setting the cadence of the verse. It's a beautiful marriage of knowing the music and knowing the lyric. And it's reducing the subject to a specimen under observation here. That's how he's conveying himself. And the imagery bristles with medical and pharmaceutical references, bitten by a tick, anabolic steroids, stem cell poster boy, drawing us into a world where the body is treated as a malfunctioning machine in need of chemical tinkering. And yet, oh, by the way, I have the lyrics in front of me, and also closed captioning. Yeah, and yet beneath the surface of these clinical terms lies an unmistakable bitterness. And it's something I know a lot of people can identify with. It's the parade of remedies which tend to begin to feel like less of a treatment and more like commodification. It's a succession of quick fixes peddled as miracle cures but revealing themselves as, Ren puts it, snake oil. Just a load of bullshit. So the tone here as well that he's going for is slyly satirical, and with it comes a critique not merely of illness but of the culture surrounding it, the unholy alliance of desperation versus profit. And the brisk, almost nursery rhyme structure masks the creeping tragedy. And how would I phrase this? It's an individual reduced to a cycle of symptoms and suppressants, and each pill promising relief but dragging the sufferer deeper into dependency. What was interesting there is the final line twists the knife even more. It's a warning that the supposed cure will worsen the condition, underscoring the cruel, really bloody cruel irony of modern medicine's darker corners. And it's, I don't want to have a debate, but it's something worth talking about. And what might have been a verse of pure lament is instead an artfully barbed commentary on the systemic failure to heal and the alienation of a patient who becomes, in the eyes of the system, less a person and more a perpetually billable condition. Maybe I'm reading too much into that, but that's what I'm getting thus far. All right, this is a deeper song than I expected. But that's the thing about artists that have no record labels. They can just have that artistic expression to write whatever they want. And I think music is greatly expressed when it's not controlled. I mean, I feel the same way about Dimash, Fozia, Ren. Their music is so much more rich because they aren't constrained or confined or controlled. It's just them, the music, their choices, and they make art. Honestly, I'm so tired of listening to songs about sex and money and violence and drugs. Can we just have more music of substance? So all power to Ren, Fozia, Dimash for that. Okay, enough ranting. Let's keep it going.
How you're doing in another week or so. You'll be feeling worse when the side effects will show.
Oh, damn.
Losing patience with the process, walking hand in hand with Satan, complications with the medication, inflammation,
Nice. Spitting bars. Nice. Oh. Always seem to drown. Oh. This guy's a hell of a writer. It's all just so impressive, isn't it? Just that stanza alone, or that verse, rather. The internal landscape, it's becoming more surreal. Yet it's no less harrowing. I mean, the lyrics that he uses, the derealization, that unsettling estrangement from one's own reality. And also it's immediately paired with the clinical designation medical patient. Medical patient. And it's a coupling that underscores the depersonalization inherent in chronic illness. Now, the clever play between losing patience and the procedural process that he outlines there, it slyly conveys both emotional exhaustion and the bureaucratic inertia of the medical system. I feel like I'm nerding out too much over the lyrics, but it makes sense. And very striking line, walking hand in hand with Satan. It injects a biblical flourish, a metaphor for the intimate, almost contractual relationship one forms when suffering, when relief remains elusive. So, again, superb writing. And then there's the rapid cascade of rhymed polysyllables, complications, medications, inflammation, dehydration, inhalation, aggravation, toleration. Again, really brilliant writing. Mirrors the overwhelming barrage of symptoms and side effects, the suffocating relentlessness of a life defined by constant management rather than just focusing on a cure. And the refrain that follows straight after that is drown, sucker, drown. So the shift in imagery from the sterile clinic to something primal and bodily, it's a visceral metaphor, and it's overwhelming. The juxtaposition of drowning with my feet upon the ground, that's super interesting to look into. It's striking. It distills the paradox of being engulfed in despair while remaining outwardly functional. I would say it's a silent catastrophe, invisible to the casual observer, deeply perceived by the one who's experiencing it. The absence of sound in the midst of screaming and shouting intensifies the theme of isolation, the sense of struggling within an unresponsive world. And so, even the search for escape, like he says, looking for a way out, he's becoming cynical in all of this, doomed to return to the same suffocating refrain, which is to always seem to drown. It's bleak, it's looping, and yet it's a very poetic construction. There is an artistry that commands attention, turning private agony into something starkly, unflinchingly communicable. I mean, I'm fangirling over the brilliance of the writing and the production of the music, but really it's just a psychological experiential masterpiece. Alright, let's keep this going. Apologies for pausing, but when I come across something that's like really interesting to look into, I gotta do my thing. I love that part.
Yeah, I think so.
Good. What I propose we do is we try to
Interesting.
pinpoint the exact experiences from the past that are keeping you stuck. What can you tell me about your childhood?
Oh,
It's okay if nothing comes up right away. What
I
I'd
will-
like you to do is take some deep breaths with me. In and out.
loving the beat.
In and out.
Notice how it changed for the breathing exercise.
First thing that comes to your mind.
I feel like it's not me, it's the world.
Yeah, that's... I've been in those situations when you're talking with a therapist, and I've had some thoughts on it. Yeah, the spoken word element to this song, it's an interlude, and it functions... The spoken word interlude sort of functions as a dramaturgical pivot, and it's pulling us as the listener from the frenetic swirl of rhyme and rhythm into the hushed choreography of the therapy room. The exchange is deceptively simple, yet it's brimming with subtext. The therapist's open query, I think it's almost kind of common now. Is this all making sense, Ren? It sort of offers that veneer of care and structure, a momentary grounding after the torrent of lyrical imagery. So the proposal that follows to pinpoint the exact experiences from the past, it gestures toward a dangerous excavation. And for someone, and I've read about his type of past, it's the unearthing of formative wounds that may be as destabilizing as they are illuminating. So for me, the invocation of childhood signals we are about to cross a threshold from symptom to origin, from present anguish to its deep-rooted seed. That's a very powerful moment in this performance. Just that little dialogue here between the therapist and Ren. Okay, let's keep this going.
Good. Now tell me the first thing that comes to your mind.
I feel
Oh.
like it's not me, it's the world that's it. We're given everything we need and we commoditize it. We consume,
Nice.
we destroy like we're parasitic. Science tells us that it's suicide and still we commit. I'm not sick,
Oh,
we are
man.
sick. We are standing on a cliff in the name of
Oh,
progress.
he's going off.
I'm not sick, I'm the virus, you're the virus, hypocrite. How can you sit there with that smile?
Oh, wow.
Sick boy, sick.
Shit. I honestly feel like I could spend an hour reacting to one of his videos. The lyrics are so unbelievably profound. Now here, there's the personal malady of earlier verses, which sort of swells into something almost prophetic. It's a widening of the lens from the microcosm of Ren's body to the macrocosm of civilization itself. He's giving commentary here. The opening verse, it's not me, it's the world that's sick. That reframes the narrative completely, transforming the patient's lament into a cultural indictment. In swift, unflinching strokes, Ren here, he's just going off, even in his performance, flipping over the table. It's the lyrics that he's using. It's the lyrics that he's using. It's sketching humanity's perverse capacity to commoditize, even at the expense of life. The parasitic hunger that devours the very foundations on which we all live and stand. There is a unmistakable ecological and existential charge here. We are told by science that our course is suicidal, yet we persist. The madness of the act underscoring the tragedy of our awareness, or lack thereof. And what's interesting here is his rhetoric. It's one of inversion and accusation. I'm not sick, we are sick, flattens the distinction between the diagnosed and the diagnostician. He's leveling the playing field, implicating all in a collective degeneration. The image of standing on a cliff, jumping off the precipice in the name of progress, it's just crystallizing the absurdity of self-destruction, and it's disguised as advancement. So it's really thought-provoking lyrics, really impressive. All right, okay, I think I've paused enough, so I'm just going to let the song run. Okay, chorus. Oh, no, not chorus. Oh, time will change. Oh. Now it sounds like a different person. Oh, what a line. Yep, fair. Oh. This man is a genius. He is an absolute freaking genius. That verse was just outstanding, woven from threads of personal defiance, industry critique, and societal damnation, each stand bristling with urgency. The refrain "Sick Boi" returns, and it does so, but here it's met not with helplessness, but with a raw, spitting energy that takes aim at the performative gloss of modern life. And here, he phrases it as, push it down in public, quick pose for the pic. It's an indictment of the facade demanded by fame and the marketplace where suffering is concealed beneath curated images, and artistic talent is just commodified in boardrooms by people who don't really give a damn. And yeah, those people that don't give a damn just measure worth by profit rather than truth or artistry or creativity. Like that line, "Don't you want to be rich, boy?" It's just crystallizing the central tension between authenticity and commercial gain. And I loved his response. He just said, "A line in the sand against assimilation into an exploitative system." Really, really freaking brilliant, Ren. Then the imagery turns dark, more bodily, walking on a tightrope, rapping with a slit throat. It just conjures the precariousness and pain of creating under such pressures, and each metaphor is a visceral rendering of artistic survival in hostile territory, and the industry is absolutely hostile. Then the verse just broadens, as earlier in the song, into a societal critique, a condemnation of collective complacency in the face of exploitation. And one of the things that he says is of raping the earth of all resources and bleeding it for gold. Oof, that was a bar. It was really a good bar. The repetition of bleed functions like a drumbeat of consequence, culminating in the chilling self-recognition. I'm bleeding myself because I'm doing the same. Final bar, self-reflection. It's the final turn. It's both the confession and complicity and admission that even the critique is tangled in the very system he denounces. In its unflinching self-awareness, the verse just achieves something that is so rare in this musical world. It's deep, it's profound, it's thought-provoking. It refuses the comfort of moral purity. Instead, it just lays bare the uncomfortable truth that we are all, to some degree, agents of the sickness that we complain about. Well, look, that was an experience. It was probably one of the most profound songs I've listened to in a while. Ren's Sick Boi is far more than just a song for me. as a fearless autopsy of personal pain, industry pressures, and the sickness that runs through society itself. His wordplay is razor sharp, the delivery raw, unfiltered, and the thematic scope is just genuinely staggering. Listening to him is storytelling at its peak. It's storytelling that challenges you to look deeper and to think deeper. And I'm still processing just how many layers were packed into all of those verses. This is probably going to be a long reaction, but I'll make a short one for YouTube and a long one for anyone who wants to join my Patreon and check it out. If you felt this breakdown resonated with you, please give the video a like, share your thoughts down in the comment section below, and make sure you're subscribed to the WordSmith so you don't miss future reactions and vocal and lyrical analyses. And if you'd like to help keep these videos coming, you can join my Patreon for exclusive early access content. You can send a super thanks, you can join the channel as a member, or you can buy me a coffee. All of the details are in the description below. Until next time, be kind, be gentle, be respectful to one another, and help each other out when you can. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care, everyone. Cheers.